If you're worried about the world we're leaving to our children, well then it looks like your algorithm brought you to the right place. I'm the mom behind the mask. Welcome. Today I want to talk to you about Tracey Nix and the tragedy her family experienced at the hands of her negligence. This story will have you second-guessing leaving your child with anyone. And it really just goes to show that you never know if they're safe in the hands of someone else, even if they're family. In the small town of Wauchula, Florida, Tracey Nix was known as a loving wife, mother, friend, and grandmother. She was a former teacher and principal and an active churchgoer and community member. By all social standards, Tracey Nix was a good woman. But tragedy struck Tracey and her family in the early summer of 2022 when she accidentally left her infant granddaughter in her car for over 2 hours, where she tragically passed away.
Because I would never hurt your babies on purpose. You've got to know that. You've got to know that. I just would never hurt them on purpose. I loved your babies.
Now, I don't want to treat this as some spoiler to a plot twist in some story because this really happened. This is a real tragedy that a real family is going through, that they're still going through. But you did hear that correctly. Tracey said babies, which implies that there were more than one baby, and that this is not the first time that something like this has happened with Tracey. But for now, I want to stick to this part of the story, which is about Uriel, her granddaughter that she left in the car, who tragically passed away, and this was her talking to the parents at the sentencing. And you think, okay, great, she was sentenced. She was charged with first-degree manslaughter, and you see her talking at her sentencing, and you think, okay, great, she was found guilty. But most would say that this family was far from receiving the justice that they deserved.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count one of the charge. The defendant, Tracey Howard Nix, is not guilty. We, the jury, find as follows as to count two of the charge. The defendant, Tracey Howard Nix, is guilty of leaving a child in a motor vehicle in excess of 15 minutes, causing great bodily harm.
So there you have it. She was not found guilty of first-degree manslaughter. She was found guilty of leaving a child in a car unattended for over 15 minutes, which resulted in great bodily harm. Okay, except for the fact of, you remember what I told you a few minutes ago? This is not the first time it's happened. In fact, just a year prior to Uriel's death, her grandson Ezra passed away in her care. He walked outside while she fell asleep. He walked outside and he drowned in a pond that was on their property. And that was ruled an accident. And yeah, accidents happen, right? That was ruled an accident. But then a year later, her granddaughter dies in her care. But the issue was the jury was never allowed to know this. They weren't allowed to know about Ezra's death. So here, the information they're getting is just that, okay, a grandmother left her granddaughter in the car and she passed away. And her defense argued that the reason this happened is because she had been prescribed way too much medication for someone her age and that it made her forgetful. And apparently, the jury bought that to some extent. And maybe that is true. I don't know. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a doctor. But I just think if they had known about the prior incident, this case would have gone so differently. Now, I'm going to show you the police footage of when the police showed up to the site with Uriel and the interview that she had right after. And I want to talk about some things that I noticed throughout. I'm going to cut out the pieces that are not really important, the pauses and things like that, but I'll leave everything that's important in there and we'll talk about it. And I want you to see for yourself what you think of her reaction.
Miss Tracey?
I can't do this again.
Well, before I'm back till 8:50 when it takes me.
I can't.
What do you mean again?
Ezra was drowned less than a year ago.
Okay, I understand.
I cannot do this again.
Is this your grandchild? I'm so sorry.
In the same family.
I am so sorry, honey.
I can't do this.
Tracy, do you have any idea maybe how long it's been?
It could have been up to 2 hours. I forgot I had her.
Okay.
I took her out to lunch with some friends. And when I got back, I don't know even what I had on my mind, but I didn't get her out of the car, and I didn't think about it again until I was getting ready to get my other grandson and take him out to dinner. And all of a sudden it dawned on me that she was with me.
I understand. Okay. Okay.
I need to drive in my car. I need to go somewhere. I can't do this.
It's hard to be here. I
I
understand.
cannot do this.
I understand. Well, we also don't want to get in their way, so we're just going to stay right here for right now, okay?
I did this. I cannot do this.
Tracy, is anyone notified?
I can't do this.
Okay.
I don't want to be here when she comes. I can't do this.
Okay.
I'm going to get in my car. I need to just go somewhere.
Well,
Unless you're going to arrest me.
I need to get a statement from you, though, okay? Are you okay to do a statement?
Yes, yes.
Do you want to go back to the sheriff's office and sit with me? Would that be better? I can't let you drive like this.
I've got to go. I cannot stay here.
Do you want to get in my car?
I cannot stay here. I have to go.
So is that okay? If you get in my car and just go with me?
I don't want to face anybody.
Okay.
I can't face my daughter. I can't do it.
I know, honey.
I cannot do it. I cannot. I cannot.
How can I help you right now?
I don't know. I need to get in my car and go somewhere. If you need to take a statement, do it now.
Shay.
Unless you're going to arrest me.
Is your vehicle close by or no? Mm-hmm. Okay. Look, would it be easier then if you sat in Detective Ward's vehicle?
I cannot be here when she gets here. I cannot do it.
Do we want to sit at the table inside, or?
I cannot.
She don't want to be
I
here,
can't
so
be
I'm asking her
here.
if she just wants us. Because like we can't let her drive in this condition. It would be irresponsible.
Well,
So
let's go back. You want to go back to
Let
the
me
office?
drive to the sheriff's office
Sure.
and you follow me.
Well,
And then
can I take you and we'll bring you back?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, we'll do that.
I don't want you driving in this state.
Not at all. Okay, but let's
But I may leave from the sheriff's department. I cannot do this again.
absolutely. But let's get you out of here for now. Let's do that. Okay? Is that okay? Let's do that. Come on, Tracy. Let's go this way.
I cannot do this.
I understand.
I cannot. I cannot. I've got to be gone before they come.
Hole in the backpack.
I've got to be gone before they come.
Yeah,
I can't do
yeah.
it.
Tracy, are you okay to walk to the front, or can
There's my car right there, the red one. I cannot do this.
Tracy?
Please drive me. Take my car. I don't want to be here when they come.
I can't drive your car, Tracy. We're gonna leave your car, okay?
I cannot.
I
I
have to
don't
leave
want
it.
to come back here.
Stay right here with me.
I don't want to come back
I
here.
get that, but I can always have your husband come get you from the sheriff's
No,
office.
I don't want to come back here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm serious about getting in my car and going somewhere.
Okay, yeah, do that. Okay, so for right this second,
I've got to
right
be
this
gone when
second.
she comes. I cannot be here.
I got you. Okay, I'm gonna have Ward take you. All right. We will figure something out for your vehicle. Don't worry about that right now. Right now, let's just worry about getting you out of here safely and taking care of what we gotta take care of. Okay.
I gotta go. I gotta
You
go.
can't go in your vehicle, Woody. She can't go in the vehicle.
I cannot be here. I cannot be here. She was
You
here.
called somebody else?
I called 911.
Okay, but did you
Please,
call and-
let's not stand here. Let's go somewhere. I don't want to be here.
Shane's pulling his car around right now.
Well, we're getting people out there to make sure no one shows up. But
It's going to be her.
We need to, why don't we just go ahead and get her at 1075?
That's what we're doing. Shane's getting his car and pulling it to the back. Yeah, I'm hoping
Good minds think alike.
hoping,
Yeah.
Can you text Captain Drake, let him know this call on Kazan Road? I'll try to call him and go straight to voicemail.
Please get me out of here. Please.
There's like no sense of urgency on that. So
Please, I don't want to be here.
Comes to 51 seconds.
So here's a couple things I'm noticing here. For one, Tracey is adamant that she cannot face her daughter after this. And justifiably. I mean, how do you look the woman in her eyes after that? After 2 of her children on 2 separate occasions have died in your care. How do you face that? But what's bothering me here is that seems to be all she's concerned about. She keeps saying, I can't do this again. I can't face her. I don't want to be here when she gets here. I don't want to face anyone. And that seems to be her main concern. And I'm just trying to picture how I would feel in this moment. And I don't know because I've never experienced it. But I'm just imagining how I would feel in that moment as I'm watching this. And I'm thinking, I would be so inconsolable if a child died in my care that I don't think I could pick myself up off the ground. I don't think my 2 feet could hold myself. And I can understand you saying, oh, I can't go through this again. I can't face her. But I think I would more so be saying, I can't believe what I've done. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, this poor baby, this poor child. What have I done? That's I feel like what I would be repeating to myself and repeating out loud. But Tracey just seems to be concerned with how this is going to look and how this is going to affect her. And so that's one thing that's bothering me. That's what I'm noticing. But let's move on to the interrogation, to the interview.
is there anything I can get for you right now?
Kleenex, baby.
Okay, let me grab you some of those. I'm just going to close the door for privacy, okay? Okay, so this is what I've got right now, okay? Okay. So, one of the other detectives was asking, were you in the maroon vehicle?
I was in the red Lexus.
Got it, okay. 206, 203, it was the red Lexus.
I'm going to just answer you like this, if that's okay.
That is totally fine. Now, what I do need to do is, I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
I wish you'd just put me somewhere, put me in a jail or something.
Well, before we even talk, I want to make sure that you're aware of your rights, okay? So, I have to read them because you're in this room with me, but you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and have that person present with you during questioning. If you can afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning. And if you decide to answer any questions without a lawyer, you still have the right to stop talking to me at any given time. And you also have the right to stop talking to me at any time until you have an attorney present. So I just want to make sure that you do understand those rights. Okay. So, Ms. Tracey, is there anything else I can get you right now? Some water, anything? Okay. So I want to make it very clear that you're not under arrest, though.
I wish I was.
I know.
I just want to be somewhere.
Can I just give you a few minutes and then I'll come back and maybe we can chat? Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to step out and give you just a few minutes and I'll come back and check on you, okay? How are we doing, Ms. Tracey?
I'll never be okay again.
Yeah. Is there anything I can get for you?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Unless you can get my car.
She's so adamant about being able to get her car and get away. I don't like that.
Definitely. Trying to figure out for you, see what I can get done.
I cannot stay here. I cannot.
Do you have any other family?
I do. I I have family up in Ohio.
Okay. What part of Ohio?
Between Dayton and Cincinnati.
Okay.
I cannot, I just cannot. I can't do this again. I can't watch my daughter go through this again. Especially knowing that I was responsible. I just cannot do it.
Do you keep her child often?
Last week I had her 4 days out of 5, but typically I just have her once or twice a week.
Was there anything different about today?
No, except that I didn't expect to have her, and I picked her up and took her to eat with some friends. And somehow, when I got home, I just didn't even think about the fact that I had her. She must have fallen asleep in the vehicle or something. And I heard no noise, and I didn't have anything specific on my mind. It's not like I was rushing in the house to do anything. I just forgot she was in the car. I just forgot. I can't watch everybody be in such pain because of some action of my own.
What's the alternative?
You know what the alternative is. Either that or just drive until I just can't go any further.
So she's implying either unaliving herself or driving until she can't drive anymore. And that's so that she doesn't have to see the pain that she's caused. Not because I'm not seeing that it's because she feels remorse for what she's done. It's just that she doesn't want to have to witness everyone else's pain. And I think that's important.
I just cannot face everybody. I cannot do it.
I don't know if this officer just isn't allowed to ask questions yet, or if she just doesn't know what to ask, but I don't think she's doing a great job right now.
What's her name?
Uriel Jane. We called her Yuri. She was the most precious child, as was her brother.
What's your favorite thing about her?
She's just precious. She's just precious. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't believe this. I cannot. I cannot believe this.
I know.
I can't imagine Kayla. Kayla hasn't been well since she lost her last baby. I cannot imagine how she's going to handle it.
Your daughter's name is Kayla?
Yes.
Okay, seriously, what is up with this officer? I feel like she's writing, daughter's name is Kayla. Baby's name is Uriel.
How did you and Kayla get through it last time?
What is the point of this interview?
She extended grace to me. That's about the only way to put it. She knew that the way that it happened, it was just an accident.
Okay. So what's different about this time?
It's her other child. I can't. Oh, God, I can't imagine.
Was this time an accident too?
It was.
Okay.
But who could do that? Who could do that? Who could have? Who does that?
What do you mean?
Who could forget that a baby's in a car? Who could do that?
Here in just a moment, we're about to see a woman come in who consoles Tracey, and we see a lot more emotion come from her.
I'll come back and check on you later. Come here. Raise your
I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. I can't do it, Jack. Do it. I can't do it. I can't. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot do this. I cannot. I can't.
You can't by
No,
yourself.
I can't. And I can't do it here. I cannot stay here. I cannot stay and watch you love. I cannot. I don't know where I'm going, but I've got to have a car because I am not staying. I cannot. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know how Pam survive. I don't know.
Now, this reaction is a lot more like I would expect someone to react in a situation like this, but I still just can't get over the fact that she's so focused on getting in her car and leaving. That's all she's focused on here, and that really bothers me because I'm imagining that if I were in this situation, I've caused a child's death, I would be so grief-stricken. I would be thinking that if I caused a child's death, I don't deserve to live either. Not getting away so I wouldn't have to face what's about to happen. Does that make sense? Now I want to play for you what Tracey said on the day of her sentencing to her daughter and to the father of the children.
I would give anything, including my life, if Uriel or Ezra or both of them could be here. And I mean that. I would give my life if they could be here. But that is not how God wanted that to be. And I can't explain it beyond that. But that's not how God wanted it to be.
Now, Tracey, you don't get to do that. This kind of shit really irks me. You don't get to say, this happened because this is what God wanted. When in reality, this is what happened as the result of your negligence.
So I've got to figure out how to live. I've got to figure out how to not hurt myself. I woke up even just 2 weeks ago. Now, this has been 2 years and 4 months ago and 3 years and 5 months, 3 months ago for Ezra. But I woke up 2 weeks ago out of a dead sleep in the middle of the night. And the first thing, I sat up, and the first thing on my mind was, what can I do to hurt myself? What can I do to get out of this? What can I do? And I thought of all these different ways that I could hurt myself or die. I wanted to die because I would never hurt your babies on purpose. You've got to know that. You've got to know that. I just would never hurt them on purpose. I loved your babies.
What you're seeing here is someone who still hasn't taken any accountability, not any actual accountability. And she's only thinking about how it has affected her. That's all she said so far, is how it made her feel, how she wants to end her life, how she wakes up and thinks, how do I move on with my life? How do I live each day now? This is all about how this has impacted her. And if I were her daughter, that mother, sitting right there and hearing how your negligence ended my child's life and how that's impacted you, if I had to sit there I wouldn't sit there and listen to that. There's been nothing yet about the children. There's been nothing yet about remorse for the fact that your actions ended 2 children's lives, how they will never live their lives. You stole that from them. Maybe not intentionally, but your actions stole their lives from them. And she has yet to acknowledge that.
With all of my heart, I love your babies. So if I have to apologize, if I have the opportunity to say I'm sorry is so menial and insignificant. But maybe if I told you that I would literally lay my life down for them, maybe that would make the I'm sorry more meaningful. I would do that if it would bring them back. You've got to know that. And I am desperately, desperately sorry for the pain that you've endured, for the loss, Joanne and Greg, of your grandbabies, for Nay. You know, Nay has stepped up and he's done all the dirty work. He's done everything. And he's done it with grace and with strength. And he's not going to get to see his grandbabies either. I don't know what else to say. I could probably babble on, but the important thing is that you know that I wouldn't hurt your babies. I just wouldn't.
You know, I actually believe Tracey. I don't think she meant to end the lives of those children. I think they were accidents. Some people don't believe that. Some people believe that it was purposeful. But regardless of what anyone believes, regardless of what her daughter believes, if I were her daughter and I was sitting there listening to this speech, it would mean nothing to me. I would look straight through her and feel nothing. And here's why. If she felt true remorse for what happened, if she felt true remorse for what she did, what she caused to happen, and she said herself she would lay down her life for those children. If that were true, then why wouldn't you accept the charge and plead guilty to involuntary manslaughter instead of fighting for the lesser charge? That is what it was. It was involuntary manslaughter. Involuntary manslaughter is not intending to harm or unalive someone, but it's still ending up that way. And that's what happened. She left the baby in the car and she died. It was negligent. It was involuntary manslaughter due to negligence. If she truly felt remorse for what happened, if she truly valued those babies' lives over her own, then she should have accepted the charge. That's the least she could have done in this situation. At least then, her daughter could have felt that she received some sort of justice. And I'm glad to say that the judge felt the exact same way.
I heard and saw the body cam footage along with the interrogation room video of Tracey Nix immediately discovering what happened after she has a grandchild passed away. She was distraught. I don't believe there's a lot of remorse in that about her grandchild's suffering and death. Rather, I see her more concerned with her community image and the death of the child. I want to leave. I want to go away. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I hear today the evidence and the testimony, and I get a little more remorse on that, but is it truly remorse? Yes. Tracey Nix, throughout these proceedings, has contended these acts are involuntary. She couldn't form the requisite intent to commit a crime. Her narrative is that she forgot because of senility or by taking her prescribed mind-altering medications. There's no credible evidence to the court that's persuaded this court to mitigate her sentence as the attorneys have requested. This defendant, like many other defendants facing prison sanctions before, is trying to avoid or lessen a prison sentence once arrested and after a jury finds them guilty. They justify what happened rather than accepting blame and truly evidencing remorse. Tracey Nix has been found guilty of a third-degree felony, punishable by a maximum of 5 years in Florida State Prison. On January 15, 2025, a jury found the defendant guilty of one count of leaving a child in a motor vehicle in excess of 15 minutes causing great bodily harm, but in reality causing death, and not guilty of one count of aggravated manslaughter. I've already gone over what I've talked about with the Rule 3.704D9 about the victim injury points. Her score sheet is 44 points. Under Florida law, the maximum sentence I can impose for Tracey Nix is 60 months or 5 years in Florida State Prison. Tracey Nix and her husband had the 17-month Ezra at their home, who died 11 months earlier. The grandchild Uriel Shock's tragedy is not an isolated incident. This is the second. The court watched and heard her interview. I do not believe she's showing remorse. I believe she's showing sorrow. It is impossible for a defendant who refuses to accept responsibility for an offense to show remorse for that offense. Sympathy is not the same as remorse. Sorrow is not the same as remorse. The court does not find that the defendant's sentencing proposal is the best sentencing option. Rather, Tracey Nix should spend the next 60 months in Florida State Prison with credit for time served. The trial court is guided by the code, the sentencing guidelines, and the express purpose for criminal sanctions under Florida law, and a Florida State Prison sentence of 60 months is the best sentencing option. She caused Uriel Shock to suffer an agonizing, prolonged death that was avoidable. The defendant restrained Uriel Shock in a car seat, and the child was severely injured before she died. There were plenty of signs to Tracey Nix that she had a baby in her car that day and she was responsible to protect it. She failed in her protection of Uriel. I will not fail this state or this community in my duties as a judge to fashion a sentence that I feel is appropriate for these type of charges. You can call it whichever one of the 5 points you call it, but I'm calling it a just and determinate sentence based upon the facts and evidence that I have seen here and heard here and presented today. The court hereby sentences Tracey Nix to Florida State Prison for a term of 5 years of Florida or 60 months with credit for all time served. A $5,000 fine shall be reduced to a judgment lien. The cost of prosecution and restitution will be reserved for 60 days. Y'all can agree on it or we'll have another hearing.
So the judge gave her the max sentence he possibly could. He almost seemed to think that she did do this on purpose. He seemed to think she's not remorseful at all, and his sentence reflected that. Now, a lot of people don't think the family got justice. Truthfully, I don't think they received justice. I don't think her sentence was long enough, but you can only do so much, right? I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think her sentence was long enough? Do you think she did it on purpose? Let me know down in the comments. If you're still here, I thank you for watching, and subscribe if you like.